Ready to see all my new plants and some growth updates? Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Rose, and in today's video, it's a bit of a combination between a haul and a growth update, because in March I got in a lot of wishlist plants, both aeroids and Hoya, and they're all in my terrarium recovering and growing, hopefully. So we're gonna check out all the plants in this magic box of growth. Let's go. First, it might be good to know how my setup is. I currently have leca and then tiles under here. Can you see the tiles? No, but they are there. Then a heat mat. As always, all the products that I mention are linked in the description below, but also on my website, yogawithrose.com/plants, and then you can select your region. I have a page for the US and also a page for Europe. And while we're here, if you want to give this video a thumbs up, it's super helpful. I always forget to ask, but it really helps if you do it at the start of the video. Thanks! Lots of plants with covers so that there's no water leaking onto the heat mat. And then this is new today. This is my new fan system. I have two, one on each side. And my new grow light, which is actually not an official grow light. I should remove the cord from the light. Actually, I'll use some tape to move that away so it doesn't get warm. So this light, it doesn't get very warm, but it's also not an official grow light. So I don't know yet if I recommend it. My friends use them a lot on their like Millsbo IKEA greenhouse projects, and they say that they are very good for plants. They put out a lot of light, but I'm not quite sure yet. I don't know how my plants will respond. So far, it looks good, but I'm not sure yet if I recommend it, so hold your thoughts on that. I've heard a lot of good things about the fans, which a lot of my friends with the IKEA greenhouse cabinets do recommend. So I'm testing them out, and they are very, very quiet, which is nice because my previous ones were very, very loud. So that's a plus. I definitely like them so far. But you're probably not here for that information. You're here for all the planty plants, and there's a lot in here. I guess we'll start here. This, I'm gonna try and take them all out for you guys, but we have to be careful because some Hoyas are very bitchy, very tricky. This is a Hoya labeled bilobata, but probably Bertonii. I got it as very small cuttings, and they're growing really well, as you can see. There's a lot of growth, there's some new leaves on the way there, and it's really velvety and fluffy. This parent plant was super rainbow colory, so I'm very excited to see what this does with a little bit more light. The next to that is my Hoya heuschkeliana variegata, and as you can see, the new growth is quite pink, which I love. I grew this from small cuttings, so I'm really happy how well this is doing. And if you don't know, the backs of the leaves are very differently variegated than the fronts, which I like a lot. So see how much green is on there? Pretty cool. Careful not to hurt the new growth. I might have to tie this up because it's hanging down a lot. I think it likes to be a little bit more up. Anyway, then next to that, we have to be extra careful because this is my Hoya daikiae, and it has a new leaf, but this plant is so tricky. Okay, I'm gonna try and take it out for you. This has dropped a lot of leaves for me, so I have to be extra careful. Here is a new leaf growing, new growth point, which is very exciting. The new leaves are adorable once they actually survive. And then here is the other growth point. It's better to see maybe with the light on top. It's already getting a little bit bigger, so I'm hopeful that that will survive. There was one more at the top, but that dropped, and then there was a tendril that also died off. So I have high hopes for these two leaves. This plant literally has grown one leaf in my care since I got it, and it's been a long time. So definitely not the easiest Hoya, but very cute. Here is the next one. This is a small Hoya finlaysonii that I got with this leaf, and it was super, super dehydrated. But I didn't give up on it. I just popped it in the soil and hoped for the best. You can still see a little bit of the damage from the dehydration, but it has grown a new leaf for me since then. So that's awesome. I never expected it to grow. And there are a few growth points down there. So we'll see how this goes. It is drying out a little bit quick on the heat mat, so I might have to repot this into something more. Let's actually see if we can. I just checked on the roots and I can't see roots, but I do see that the soil is very, very dry. So I'm gonna soak this for a little bit and then maybe repot so that it is a bit more heavy. So we're just gonna put that off to the side. aroid time. Ta-da! My new baby. I got this from Planting Inc., which is a Dutch web shop, and it is a Philodendron plowmanii. How cool is that? I didn't have a crawler, so I'm very excited to see how it grows. I've repotted this since getting it, and it has a growth point, but it hasn't done much. I feel like it needs to adjust a little bit to this new environment. Also, it might be a little bit dry, even though there's moss on here as well. I got this in moss, and I repotted into a mix of moss and soil so that I can slowly transfer it to soil, which I prefer. But yeah, look how, I didn't know this until I got this plant, but I don't know if the light is good. Yeah, that's better. Can you see the ruffles? So the petioles have a little ruffle on both sides, like a little skirt. And I love it very, very much. It's so cute. So that's that one. This is a tricky story, but an exciting story. This is a Hoya nicholsoniae New Guinea ghost, a cutting that I got from a friend. And apparently they are super expensive. And of course, in my care, it almost immediately died. So I have this one part left. Let me try and, I'm popping them up on the very imbalanced part of the terrarium. But I was hoping, oh, I actually think it's rooting. I don't want to pull it out. Yes, it's rooting. Wow. So this was very dead. It had 3 leaves and it ended up with 1. Oh, I may have loosened the roots. But look, in there, can we see? How can I show you this? It's tiny. I think it's rooting. So I'm gonna leave it alone. Oh, sorry, buddy. But yeah, apparently this is gonna survive from almost killing off 3 leaves and a whole stem rotting. It's gonna still survive. How cool is that? Back here is an interesting project that is in a plastic baggie to keep the humidity a little bit higher. The terrarium can be a little bit fickle. This is a chunk of Anthurium queen. So this can hopefully maybe one day become a warocqueanum plant. Let's see. No, those roots were on there already. I got very excited for a second. But yeah, this came with my other plant that I will show you in a moment. This hasn't done anything yet. But also it hasn't rotted. Ooh, sorry. Hasn't rotted. It has some algae on there, but that's okay. I'm gonna pop that back in there. This is how I get my predatory mites in, but I usually put these in for like a few days to make sure that if any mites were still in there, they can crawl out. But now we have the little baggies that you're not supposed to use like that, by the way. I'm not a good example, but I tell you more about that in this video. So if you're interested, go check that out. And back here, everything is really dry, actually. I should water my plants more. Whoops. I think it's because I've been leaving the heat mat on all night and all day because of the cold that we've had here. It's been weirdly cold for April. Oh no! Oh no, the growth point has also dried out now. That's not nice. But it's probably because of that heat mat. So I've changed it now so that it only switches on during the day. Hopefully adjust the temperature, because it says that it's 28 degrees in there right now. It doesn't feel like it, but it's very warm in there. Anyway, this is a Hoya meredithii cutting that I've grown, and you can see here this part has dried out. This is an old stem, and then this is a new stem. Luckily that looks to be okay still. But yeah, this is very dry. If you don't know, I grow a lot of my Hoyas in ceramis just to make sure that they're okay. Apparently it's quite a safe medium. And ceramis is like small balls of leca basically, but you can see that it's dry because it's very light pink. And once you've watered it, it looks much more dark red, like you can see here. Just to see the difference. So this definitely needs water. I'm gonna put this off to the side with the others so that I don't forget to water them. Then in the back here is a very exciting one. Wait, let me take the spider mite protection off. So this is my mama pink princess that is doing great. I've showed you her on Instagram as well recently because she's doing so awesome. You can see a fully pink leaf and several stems on here and some pups that are growing as well. Wait, where are the cool pups? There we go. Some very nice pink puppies, even though that often doesn't mean that the plant will get pink. I've noticed. I've had several pups with a lot of pink like that one and then grow into not very pink at all, unfortunately. But I have high hopes for this plant to keep growing nice pink because I want some pink in my life. Let's keep going. In the back here, this is a very cool trade I did with a friend. Just making sure it's stable on that wobbly piece of glass. Anyway, this is a Rhaphidophora cryptantha. I love it, but it's not really doing anything yet. Hold on. So this is like this on moss. And then there's one root that's really far down somewhere there. No, that's the healthy root. If you've seen mature ones of these, they are very, very cute. But this obviously is not much yet. So I'm actually thinking of making a little moss wall to hang up in the back of the terrarium for some of these shingling plants that need the support. Here's a tiny little sneak peek of how that went. I didn't make a video about it because I just am experimenting so far. It's a self-watering one, but so far it looks pretty good. While I was checking, I actually noticed there are some fresh roots. Do you see them here and here? And then down there, there is also growth, and on this side as well. See it? The little point? So I guess it's okay and happy. It's a bit weird, but we're just gonna pop this back and leave it for now. Down here, there are some really cool plants as well. Let's take some of the small ones out first, so we have a bit of space. This is my pot of gold Hoya macrophylla variegata pot of gold, the inside variegated one, and it wasn't very happy, so I propagated it. I don't see any growth yet. The soil is quite dry and hard, so this goes on the watering pile as well, but look how pretty that is. I hope it's gonna grow. In this corner, oh, it's so cute. This is a tiny little Hoya crassipetiolata splash that I got from a friend. I hope it's rooting. I can't really see because this glass is pretty hard to see it in, but so far the leaves still look very happy and solid. So it seems to be okay for now, although it's not growing. What do you think? Do you like this one? I really like it. But also it probably needs some water, so this table is getting very full. Whoops. Let's go for an aeroid again. This tiny baby is a, I keep wanting to say Hoya, but this is a Philodendron atabapoense, and it's a cutting. So there's an aerial root there that hopefully will start to grow. Oh, look, something is growing. Wait, is that a root or a growth already? I think it's growing a growth. I don't see roots yet. Hold on, let's try and pull it out. Do you see the little point? It feels pretty stuck, so I don't want to pull it out. Maybe there are some little roots in there, but it's growing. Oh, and I almost suffocated it. Whoops. Let's make some space. This is hard, checking the growth and finding the growth, but then also trying to film it. You may not see much, but there we go. Atabapoense leaf on the way. Oh, so excited. I did a trade with my friend Jess, fertilizer queen, and this was one of the trades that she gave me. So little plant, but very, very good potential and already growing. Then let's go for this big one. This is my Hoya calystophylla, which I grew from a 5-leaf propagation. So from this leaf onwards, they are all new. And it seems to have grown quite a lot in fall last year, and then it stopped for a little bit, but now it's active again. See, there's a baby leaf and a little tendril. Look how beautiful those leaves are. It has the most bright contrast of veins that I have seen in a Hoya. So absolutely love this one. It's also growing very compact, which is one of my favorite things. So very happy with this one so far. Also, this was gifted to me by a friend a while back, but I've had it for a while, so it doesn't count for the whole part. It's almost time to change doors, but I want to go for a few more from this side because the other side is really full again. This, ta-da, is Katja. I got her from Global Garden. I immediately propagated her because she had quite a bare long stem and some damage of spider mites on the leaves. And the propagation has a new leaf, so that's very exciting. I have a few Syngoniums, which actually are here, so they are easy to see. I have a variegated one and then a confetti as well in the back there. and this is my third kind. I hope it does well, but yeah, it definitely needs water. So this watering table is getting very, very full now. It's more full than the terrarium, so I should pay more attention. This is a Philodendron, brandtianum. Is it? Yes. So I got this in a trade with my friend Larissa, Loving Monstera, on Instagram, and it was growing in her terrarium on one of those moss balls, and it just looked amazing because the silver on the leaf was so shiny. I was like, what is that plant? Oh, I didn't tell you, but I also traded that one with her. So my plan is to put both of these on that moss ball thingy once it starts to grow well. It was a little bit of a project, because you can see here, this is the leaf that it came with. It was a little bit sad, but since then it has grown this leaf, which looks pretty good, if I say so myself. Am I allowed to say that? And then there's a new leaf on the way as well here. So I have high hopes for this one. See the silver? Sometimes the grow light is perfect for showing certain things. So that's gonna be here together, climbing up a wall. What do you think? Let me know. We have two more Hoyas that I'm going to show you from this side. This is Hoya Bella Anneke Buis, named after one of the two ladies who the variegated Hoyas were named after. And Anneke is a very traditional Dutch name. It's the outer variegated one, so also known as Hoya Bella albomarginata. And I don't know if you can see, but it's growing from 3 out of the 4 eyes it came with. So there's a growth there. There's 2 growths there. And the roots are growing out of the pot, so that's a good sign. This is why I love these small pots with open holes, even though they dry out very quickly. So that's why I have it in here, in a cup that it came with. And then I have the little lid as well, so that it gets a little bit more humidity and a little bit more condensation that, again, waters the plant, because it's sitting on a heat mat and I don't want my bellas to dry out, because I learned that Hoya bellas don't like to dry out. Here's the lid I was talking about, so that I don't close it fully, I just let it sit on there. And here's the other bella, which, she's a queen. So this one, I'm gonna try and take it out in the same way. This is known as Hoya bella Luis Bois, but it's actually named after Luis Bois. I think it has a peduncle. That would be crazy. See it? The normal growth is going upwards there in the little point. Yeah, that's a peduncle. Ooh. I was speaking yesterday with someone who said that Hoya bellas flower very easily. So that would be very cool. Anyway, I was saying this is known as Hoya Luis Bois, but it's actually named after Luis Bois, who is the other lady from the 2 ladies of the Buis nursery, which used to be a Hoya bella nursery here in the Netherlands, quite close to me actually, in Aalsmeer. It's a very fascinating story, I thought, of them finding these 2 variegated versions of a Hoya bella and then naming them after the ladies that were a part of the family, because they both have the last name of the nursery, Buis. And then somehow this plant got a different name, Luis Bois. I guess if you don't know how to pronounce Dutch, Luis Bois might be hard to say. So it's so funny that we completely forgot about beautiful Lida, who this plant actually was named after. Anyway, this is a long story for a very small plant. It has 1 growth point that it came out with this growth point, but these leaves came out for me and this one as well. So it's been growing really fast. If you don't know, this plant is very hard to get in the Netherlands and maybe also Europe, I don't know. But it's such a fast grower that I don't understand, and it's so easy. I don't know why it's so expensive and hard to get. You guys, tell me why. Also, if I can make this flower, that would make my spring. I don't think it will flower right away. I know. Fingers crossed for me. Okay, enough about this one. And then we're gonna move on to that side. This is also a very exciting side. If you came here for the Hoyas, then that's it for the Hoyas. Let's move over to my queen. This is Cleopatra. I already introduced you in a different video. Check it out here if you wanna see my introduction video, whole video. And she's doing okay. She has not grown a new leaf yet. You can see the petiolar sheath here on the stem. That's where a new leaf will come out of. Just breaking in to show you, it's 5 days later now. And look, there is a new leaf growing. So exciting! And I made a whole bunch of stories on my Instagram to explain how Anthurium leaves grow like that when they're younger. So check that out. I'll try and make a short video on YouTube about it as well. She has grown quite well because this was the big leaf that she came with, which looks beautiful. And then this new leaf was very, very small still. And since then it has grown into the same length as the previous leaf, only it's a little bit damaged. So it's curled up on itself, which is not very handy to show you, but what can we do? So I'm hoping that the next one will be as big and happy and awesome. Very excited to see it because I've always wanted one of these and now I have it and I feel very, very lucky. I waited almost 2 years to get one of these and to have a space where it could be happy like this terrarium. And yes, I should really clean these windows. And if you don't know, I actually talk about this in this video, which is the first video about terrarium setups that I made. And you'll hear me saying certain things that I no longer use, like the light setup is different, the heat mat setup and the fan, everything is different from then. But it was the start of why I started to get this terrarium secondhand, because I wanted to eventually grow this plant. Then in this corner, it's a little bit full. So we're gonna try and take plants out one by one and see how we go in creating some space. This is one of my Anthurium crystallinums. All of them are a little bit damaged. So that's why I'm very happy with the new setup, because these fans are not as strong. So hopefully they're not gonna damage new leaves coming out like what happened here. And I can keep the humidity a little bit better at a better level. This is a beautiful plant. She's a little bit crooked because of the light and also quite dry. This needs a water. But for now, I'm just gonna slide these over to the side so we can see more of them. This is another crystallinum. I get a lot of questions of how I have so many and if I'm selling any. And I understand that question, but no, I'm not selling any, because I got these as a gift from a friend, both as a few seedlings, which you see here, and then I have some seeds from him as well. So obviously I'm not gonna sell things that someone gifts to me. So sorry if that disappoints you. Here again, damage on the leaf. This leaf that came out just completely shriveled up, which is very sad. I think it's because the fan was on it too much as it was coming out, or maybe because I spray into my tent right now. I don't have a humidifier in here and I spray on the leaves, and sometimes if you let the water stay on the leaf, then it can go bad as well. So I don't know, but it put out a new leaf, which is here. We're not gonna touch it too much because new Anthurium leaves do not like to be touched. This one at least is well watered, so that's different. That's nice. And I hope that the new leaf will be big and perfect again like this one, even though we have a crispy tip here as well. It's getting so warm in here that they are not happy, especially because I keep it on at night as well, and the Anthuriums like a little bit of a temperature drop normally. Since filming this video, I actually switched the heat mat plug into the timer, so now it switches off at night and the temperature is much better in here. This is the third crystallinum that's in here. This is the last one that's in here. The rest of my seedlings live in my grow box upstairs. This leaf, again, very sad looking. This is also because it was against the window, so I just kept sliding the door against it, this one. So that was unavoidable because it's so full in here. It is making a new root, so that's a good sign. Can we see the root? There we go. This was the previous leaf. It does look quite good, this one, so that's a good sign. And let's see if we can see the crystals. Can we maybe hold it closer? Can you see how shiny and glittery that is? Not really, can you? Okay. And there's a new leaf on this one as well. Here she is. Quite long. I'm very excited to see how this develops, and I'm trying to make sure that it doesn't get hurt too much from my touch or other plants or doors or whatever else can damage the leaves. So that's a really, oh, we have one, we have a really cool Hoya in here that I forgot about. Wow. Okay, I hope the Hoya people stayed. Whoops. So let's look over here. we'll take this one out first. So this is my forgettii. If you don't know, forgetties are the anthuriums with a closed sinus, so the top is closed. And mine has I can't talk. And mine has quite a lot of silver in the veins, which might be because it's still quite immature. It's still a little baby, or maybe it's a forgettii silver. I got it as a very small plant, and as small plants, they are very hard to identify. Seedlings are almost impossible to identify. There are differences in them, but to identify for sure is very, very hard. Unless they are experts, of course, and then don't listen to me. But just a fun fact for you. This is the biggest leaf right now, but I just noticed, which is why I love doing these growth updates, that there is a new leaf on the way. Do you see that? I love it when they get pregnant and you can see the new leaf coming. There, the light's a little bit better from this side. So when they're immature, when they're young still, the leaf comes out of the previous leaf, and that's called a petiolar sheath. And once they go a little bit more mature, then they will grow a cataphyll, which is the cover that comes out before the leaf actually comes out. But since mine are all still quite small and immature, that's what's happening with mine. Even with my regal, which I will show you in a moment. So this leaf also looks horrible. It somehow is drying up a lot. Might have to wash my hands after touching it. I don't know if this is infectious or if it's just from my bad watering and everything. Either way, I'm not great with this one, so I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna try to keep it a little bit more even in here, which is how the fans also will help, of course. So let's pop that over there. Let's go over here. Hiding on basically my regal pot, I have this Lepanthes calodictyon, if I pronounce that right. Calodictyon. This was a little, this is a miniature orchid that I bought together with my friend Rogier in an order from an orchid nursery, a specialized orchid nursery. And apparently they are a little bit tricky to grow, but I wanted to try it out and see how they go in my terrarium. And you can see maybe there's a little flower spike in the center of that leaf. That is how these plants flower. So every leaf, here's another beautiful one, gets a little flower spike at the base of the leaf and then a little red flower in there if you're lucky. The leaves are very ruffled, as you can see, especially if you have a pure form. There are a lot of hybrids for sale which have less of the ruffles apparently. I all heard this from Rogier. I'm not an expert, but look, there's a, ooh, can I hold it still? There's a little flower bud right there. And some new leaves as well. So this is definitely happy in my care so far, which is awesome because I had no idea what I was doing. So I'm very happy to have it and see if I can continue growing it. It would be cute to hang this up on that board that I'm planning, but this doesn't want super direct light, so that's why it's hiding on the regal pot. 3 more plants in here. The first one is quite cute. This is my Macodes petola that I got in a terrarium video. I did a care video about jewel orchids. Check that out here. It wasn't doing very well in my little house terrarium that I show you in that video, so I decided to move it into the terrarium, into the big terrarium, and it's been really happy ever since because these leaves all came out while growing in here. If you don't know, this is like lightning, so beautiful. It's like a crystallinum, only more small and more detailed. This is such a cool plant. And I have a very, very cool jewel orchid project in the works for you as well. So you'll hopefully see that very soon. So this Hoya, which is hiding back here, is why I got so excited before, because see that new leaf? Ah, finally. This is my Hoya clemensiorum that I potted up in 2 different places. So I have this one in soil and then another part of the cutting lives there in ceramis. And both of them had rooted really well and had grown little tendrils, but not yet leaves. And actually I'm seeing that there is another leaf there that got a little bit stuck behind the support. So whoops, my bad. Can we focus on it at least? That would be nice. I think my camera prefers the Anthuriums over the Hoyas. This new leaf is very, very special because this is such a cool Hoya. I don't know if you can see okay here, but this is like a prehistoric looking Hoya. The veins on it are super, super pronounced, and it has a sun stress here as well. So it looks so weird and cool and like dinosaur-y dead almost, that I love this plant very much. So I'm super excited to see that new leaf growing, and hopefully the small baby one on the top as well. Look how cute that is. It's so small and veiny. I'm really very excited about this. My other one has grown one leaf for me so far. So this is the second Clemensiorum leaf that is growing in my care. And I hope that more will follow, because this is a very cool plant to have and grow. Enough Hoya adoration. It's time for Reggie to take the spotlight, because this is my most beautifulest. No, I don't know. Sorry, Cleo. This is Reggie, my Anthurium regal, which I got. You can't even see it anymore because all the leaves that it grew before for me are already gone. This leaf was a huge leaf for how big I got it. So I remember the leaves were like 2 fingers long, and now this one is like a hand long. And then the next one came out, and that was this one, super big as well. That's like 3 times as big as the previous one. Unfortunately, there is some browning at the ends here, but that's okay. And then this one came out about the same size because I repotted the plant in between these 2 leaves, but it looks pretty good and perfect, although I scratched it, so there's a little scar on the leaf. Sorry. And look, can we see the new leaf? Can we focus on it? Yeah. So there is a new leaf growing. I'm super, super excited to see it grow, and I'm gonna make sure that it's safe, that it's not sitting against something or getting hurt. So I'm really hopeful that that will be a perfect leaf for once. Although nature, of course, is not always perfect, and it's perfect in its imperfectness. But I would love to have a big leaf like this without any scratches or damage or browning. And then I guess that's the last one. So that's it for this terrarium tour. Tell me what's your favorite one from all of these plants. I would love to hear if you're more into aroids or Hoya, if you like Anthurium at all, because I'm obsessed with them, and I know not everyone is, because they can be a little bit scary to care for, which this video maybe proves because of all the browning leaves. But yeah, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear. I'm gonna go water these plants and make sure that they're all safe in new spots where they have maybe a little bit more space to grow out their beautiful leaves. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Consider joining my Patreon or YouTube membership, where we have a Discord chat and Zoom calls every month, but also early access to videos. Whether you join or not, I love that you're watching this video all the way to the end. Thank you so much for supporting me and for enjoying my content, hopefully. And I will see you in the next video. Bye, friends.